You're not missing a strategy. You are missing yourself.
Welcome to the show. Tired of the hype about living the dream? It's time for truth. This is the place for tools, power, and real talk so you can create the life you dream and deserve. Your ultimate life. Subscribe, share, create. You have infinite power.
Welcome back to Your Ultimate Life. For the next 3 weeks, we're going to have a series about something that might be the most important series we've done. It matters more than tactics. It matters more than learning AI and all of the other things that are the trend of the moment. You know what I mean, right? The new thing comes out and we think we got to have it. It is the actual process for creating the life you want. Wealth, impact, and meaning. So the next 3 weeks, we're going to focus on that. This is actually how to do it. Not by chasing more, but by becoming someone different. Because you don't build wealth, impact, and meaning from what you do. You build it from who you are. So today, we're going to dive deeper into what it actually means to create your life, to create your interactions, one moment at a time. Now, here's a lie that everybody seems to be buying, and it's painful for me because I used to buy this whole hog, okay? And the idea is this. We need more of something else to get what we want. In the recording studio, which I've run for 40 years now, since actually 45 years, different forms, but I've run a studio for 45 years. I used to believe with all my heart that I needed to have certain gear in order to hit the big time. You know, I needed to have that. Now, in the years I ran the studio, I did have big record labels come, and I had artists go through the studio that I helped with. I helped as a producer and played different parts, programmed drum machines. I was more than just the audio engineer. I functioned as a co-producer. You know, theirs is the credit. It's their stuff. And so I was very involved in this. And somehow I thought, if I just have this other drum machine or this other synthesizer or this other processor, then that will be the magic touch. And there's no doubt that good gear can give you good results. A better camera, a better AI app, a better, something. There's no doubt that those things are fun, sure, and they help, but they're not magic. The key is the expertise. I saw people working in much less favorable circumstances, less gear, this, that, and the other, produce staggeringly good stuff because of their dedication to skill and craft. So if you want to have all the wealth, cash, money, bank account, all the wealth, the impact and influence, and personal meaning, if you want all of that you want, come with me. Because I've learned how to do it, and I'm going to share every bit of it with you. Nothing held back. You don't need more funnels. You don't need more ads. You don't need more strategy. You don't need to buy the latest thing. Every day, every week at least, but every day, mind shifting and the new Wingiliotomy and whatever it is. Oh, that's going to suddenly bypass all the difficulties and all that old stuff. That doesn't work anymore. We got the new thing, combining new stuff with ancient wisdom. And can we all vomit together? Because every time we think that the gear or the new technique or the new thing is the magic, we abandon our sovereignty. We abandon our own craft and skill. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, hundreds of years ago. Wow. He didn't need modern anything. Certainly not AI to do any of that. So we don't need more hacks. We need a dedication and commitment to the craft and, first of all, ourselves. We sometimes think we're just one tactic away from the life you want, and one funnel away. That's somebody's marketing thing, right? And it drives the feeling. If we just had that, that one thing, that's a lie. And you know that it is, because how many, literally millions of people are buying that one more thing? I just got a message from a client 2 days ago who described all of the different things, and this is over a period of about 3 years, that they had purchased. This thing and that website builder and this story, thing, and just this AdWords help and this, other kind of traffic help, et cetera, et cetera. And they've run a successful business for a long time, but they always are here, right in with the water right up your nose. And they listed the whole thing, and it was a long voicemail, in, I think it was Facebook Messenger, but it doesn't matter, describing all the things that they've done and how every one of them just didn't quite work. So what do we need? We've spent a minute here talking about what doesn't work. And if you're like me, you've chased all those. And I can tell you, I can testify that it doesn't work. Not because the things are wrong, but because it depends on who's operating the gear. We just had the Olympics a few weeks ago, a couple months ago by the time you see this. And one of the things that really just blew me away was the big air competition, both on those short skis and snowboards. How these people went in the air and did all these zillion twists and turns, and the numbers are so big. It used to be that a 720, which is 360-degree rotations, were big, then a 1080, and then a 1440, and then I lose track after that, 1920 and 21 something, like 17 million. Okay. But if you strip the stuff down, they're wearing boots, they're wearing boards, they got certain bindings, whatever. Then you can give all that gear to somebody else and they'd fall on their face. It is the skill, the confidence, and the capability. It's who they are. And when each of those persons would get ready to go, the women's and the men's, they were just amazing. You saw them, on the snowboards, they'd hop over to the right place, and the skis, they tended not to hop, but, slid over to the right place just right. And then they'd pause and they'd become the person who was going to rip it up. You could see the energy. That doesn't come from the gear, right? It comes from who we are. So the real problem isn't lack of skill. It's certainly not lack of intelligence. And it's wildly not the lack of opportunity. I mean, our ability to reach the world was guaranteed with the internet. And as more data farms get built and better servers and better internet and more fiber and everything else, that just goes up and up and up and up and up. So reaching the audience isn't hard anymore. Now we have tools, AI, and 50 million different bots and agents and things that let you do more faster than we ever could. I use it every single day. And I love it. I've trained mine to sound like me and to work with me and to be me, to think like me. I put all my books and all that stuff in there so that it knows who I am, so it can help me best. And then I ask it to challenge me and everything. All that. Good tool. But it comes, the power is not connected to that. Your power, your ability to make big money, make big impact, and to be just wildly happy with who you are every day and every minute is connected to yourself, your truth, right? Who do you believe that you are? And we just brush that off like it's some kind of woo-woo crap, but it's actually the almighty linchpin. And so you can't sidestep that. You can't get around it. You can't consistently show up and operate at a level that is inconsistent or different than what you believe about yourself. So that's the place to work first. Who do you believe you are? What do you truly believe you're capable of? Not the hype, not the noise, but like deep inside when you're alone, when there's nobody to impress. And if the answer is, well, I think I could do that stuff, but I haven't, so how do I believe that? There's a way. And I'd love to talk with you about that. Okay, because it involves discipline. It involves remembering that you're a divine being. And it's some other things. But you see this URL right here. YourUltimatelifePodcast.com. YourUltimatelifePodcast.com. Go to that URL. And there's a contact form, and let's talk. Because I can teach you how to change all that permanently. And it's not some new mystical sage thing that got discovered in ancient... You're already a divine being. You're just buried under blankets of baloney. YourUltimateLifePodcast.com, the contact form. Now, you don't need to go there to listen to shows. You know that because we're on all the regular channels. But if you want to talk, if you go to the website, YourUltimateLifePodcast.com, and use the contact form, then we can talk. And I'd love to do that. Here's the truth. You don't trust yourself, so you chase systems. The new thing. It's like what I was describing in the studio with the gear. You don't really trust yourself. So what do? Well, we chase systems, gear, the new thing, the new bot, the new this, that, and the other, and it's not enough. It's never going to be enough because it's built on a foundation of fear. I don't care what you build on mud, it's going to collapse. I don't care what kind of business you build on fear, it's going to collapse. I had a fun experience last night, and that was if you're a drummer, every drummer, rock drummer knows who Neil Peart is and John Bonham and, some other ones that have been ones through the years, Don Henley, Phil Collins, et cetera, but the greatest drummer of all time to ever even begin to breathe air or hold sticks wasn't any of those guys. And it wasn't even in rock. It was a jazz drummer named Buddy Rich. And every single one of those drummers that I just mentioned and everyone that breathes air will say that. And even his contemporary said it. He had a rare, impossible, superhuman speed. And he didn't even ever take lessons. And that's the interesting thing. He didn't buy any funnels, right? He just lived into his craft and then developed on purpose that kind of confidence. So anyway, the video I saw was a contest between one of those legendary rock drummers, Neil Peart from Rush, and Buddy Rich. And it showed a big band with each of those drummers, and they were playing the same songs. And in every case, it was so obvious that whether it was rhythm or working with the melody or playing under a soloist or the drum solo itself, there wasn't even any comparison. It was just terrifyingly obvious who owned the instrument. And the person that made it told me something I didn't know, that after that contest, and it was a video made, it was quite a long video, that Neil Peart was humble and he realized, I don't got this. As good as he is, not like that. So immediately he went to the most renowned drummer lesson teacher. I forgot the name. I recognized it when I heard it and started taking lessons, started over. It's like, I need something. And so that was smart, but he realized it wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a new pair of sticks. It wasn't a different anything. It was, you know what? I got to become that thing. So I just thought that was interesting. So here's the turning point. Even if I gave you the absolute perfect funnel, you'd hesitate, you would overthink, and you would dilute your message. Why? Because you keep doubting yourself. Confidence is attractive. Insane competence and absolute confidence. Own that phrase. Insane competence and absolute confidence. Well, those are interrelated. Insane competence comes from nothing but practice. Absolute confidence comes from that stuff. I'm not talking arrogance. Don't go there. Your results will always match your identity. Okay, and that's a terrifying truth. So let's pivot here. Here's the pivot. If the real answer is not more, if the real answer isn't more, what if it's becoming something different? And you can say, well, I am who I am. I can't help it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And it's in your hands and you own it. Now, you've been in the you've been in the presence of someone who just has infectious confidence. And you can feel it. And they're a pleasure to be around. I'm not talking about arrogance. You want to be there. You want to follow them. You want to listen. You're paying attention. And the energy just feels like, yeah, man, there's just something here. I want that. Well, the good news is you can have it. So here's the pivot. Becoming something different. I'm going to give you some words that sound woo-woo, that have nothing to do with ad strategy or avatar definition or audience, lookalike audiences or targeting or, geographic segmentation or secondary demographic profiles or any of the buzzwords in ad targeting and so forth. Love, listen, serve. Love, listen, and serve. And over the next 3 weeks, as we do these episodes, you're going to see what I mean. And you know what the good news is? You don't need to buy that. It doesn't cost you $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. I have another client who bought one of these expensive systems and spent a week, took a trip, spent a week with the guru of whatever, and just overhauled websites and everything to follow this magical crap. Didn't work. Worked a little bit, worked for a time, and there were problems and then disconnects and whatever. And the price tag of it was way, way up in the 5 figures. Not 6 figures, but way up in the 5s. The foundation was not there. So all the glory we put on top of it didn't work. So we're going to talk about love, listen, and serve over the next 3 weeks, this week included, and figure out how to turn those into your natural state of being. Because most of the time, especially if we're trying to build business, we operate from a place of fear. We might be excited about what we've got, but you know what I mean. When you actually go to do enrollment or sales calls or prospecting visits or networking, most people take one or another extreme. They go in brashly and they're overconfident, which is offensive, and nobody wants to talk to you or listen. Or they go in fearful that they're going to be rejected, and so they've written that future already. The words you speak create your future. You wake up in the morning and say, it's a suck day. You create a suck day. Boom, done. No excuses, no argument. If you wake up knowing it's an awesome day and you're going to put every ounce of love and energy to make it one, it's an awesome day. You get what you speak in the most literal sense. And again, I'm going to invite you, if you don't understand that or don't understand how to do that, talk to me. YourUltimateLifePodcast.com. Contact form. Okay? Love, listen, and serve. They're not tactics. They're not a jacket you put on. It's still cold up here. Snowed yesterday. And so I've got this really warm, really thick shirt over my base layer because, I've got to go outside for different things and it's cold. That's a jacket I put on to do something. If we try to put on the jacket of love or of listening or of service, everybody knows it's fake. It just feels squishy. Somebody that's just pretending. Essentially, they're pretending. Fake it till you make it. That is such bullshit. Okay, and sometimes when I say that, people think, well, if I haven't made it yet, then I have to be fearful. No, you don't. There's a way to do that is authentic and real and doesn't carry that fake energy. Okay, so let's go on. beyond love, listen, and serve as a way of being. Okay, when I create everything I do, every book I write, every podcast I do, every coaching session I give, those are the three things. How can I just absolutely fiercely love this person? How can I listen to them like they've never been listened to? Like, so that they have that experience. How can I serve them fiercely without any thought for myself? Those are the keys, and we're going to talk about how to do that over the next several episodes. So here is some truths that sit underneath that will give you superpowers, as it were. Okay? And it has to do with how you got where you are. How you got where you are. Now, I don't mean the address that you have. I don't mean the city you live in. I don't mean the relationship you're in. I mean all of it. The physical externalities, but more importantly, the internal state. Like if you think about your life, what do you say? I live the ultimate life. I can't believe I'm this blessed and every moment is joyful and I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. Okay, that's one way you can describe your life. Another way you can describe your life is I barely get by. Got a few good things, a few tough things, and when I add it all together, it's about middle. You know, I get by and there's this underlying thing of worry and fear that crap might not work and then I'm in struggle. Or another end of the spectrum is life sucks and then you die, right? Everything turns against me. Everything, no matter what I do, it just breaks and nothing works. Whatever you say is what you are. And I want you to realize what power you have. Whatever you say your life is, that's what it is. And we get stuck in the idea that it's something outside of us. Even if you got a bankruptcy or the IRS collected your money or, I have some of in fact, all of them. I was bankrupt once and the IRS seized all my accounts once. I've had all that actually happen to me and I'm still alive and I love every minute and second of every day. And what I want to do is teach you how to do that over these next weeks, because that's the foundation of not fear. That's the foundation of power. That's the foundation of love, listen, serve. Love, listen, serve. Love, listen, serve. Okay. As ways of being, not as a jacket you put on because it's cold outside. Oh, it's scary. I'm not getting the clients I want. I better go try this new tactic. Oh, I saw an ad that says this is the one funnel. This is the one ad. Oh, I need to fix my mindset. Oh, I just saw this new thing. Mind flipping, mind shifting, super coaching, level 5, level 27. It's all nonsense. Not because it doesn't work, but because you can't have it done to you. If you think you're going to go somewhere and somebody's going to do this to you and suddenly you're going to be okay, you're going to be disappointed forever. That's actually good news, because if it were true, that means we all spend time hunting and hunting until we find that pot of gold out there somewhere, and that fixes us. No. You own the power to fix it right here, right now, by yourself in your chair. Now, you might need some help, just like you might need help setting your leg if you broke it. Go to a doctor and do that. And a doctor will get you healthy. And if you want to go to the Olympics and be one of those big air people, you're going to have to get some coaches and get it done. But the stuff in your heart depends entirely on you. Okay, so how do we manage all of these things that have happened to us? Because there's lots of stuff that's happened that we didn't ask for. And I say happened to us. There's the popular phrase, life happens for us, not to us. Well, what if that's true? What if everything that you define as sucky, every sucky thing, was actually a huge blessing? There was a pony inside that pile of horse poop with every single one, not just once in a while. Just set your doubts aside for a sec. What if that's actually true, that there is? And we've just missed it. We threw the whole thing. We got angry. We quit looking, and we had somebody come and take it away, and we lost the pot of gold, the pony and the poop, right? We threw the baby out with the bathwater over and over again because we got mad because this happened to us. We didn't ask for it, and it wasn't fair. What if every single thing was designed and had the seeds of a pot of gold in it for you? So often one of the things I hear when we talk about this kind of work with someone is they complain. It's hard. I don't remember. It's one of the funniest ones. I forget. I just get up and I forget. Well, did you forget to eat for a week? Did you forget to get dressed and ran out on the street naked? No. Why not? Well, you just don't do that. Well, let me ask you a question. If you knew to the core of your heart that learning to love yourself, to listen, to love, listen, and serve, if you knew that that was $1 million for you, if you did that every day for a month, would you do it? Would you somehow forget to do it? No, because the $1 million hanging there, gold carrot, would remind you every day. It's like, no frickin' way am I missing that. It's $1 million right on the other side of this thing that I do in a disciplined way, whatever it was, for a month. See, the thing is we don't believe that. But it's still how we're built, really and truly. All right, so let's talk about your life. All of those things that happened for you are not random. They are designed to build you into a magician, a wizard, a magical person. You know, we don't operate in the, I love this picture back here with all this light and open hands and stuff. We don't operate in the Harry Potter world, but really we do. We just get impatient because we see it in the storybooks and on the screen that, you know, you throw your wand and it happens immediately. Well, things almost never happen immediately, but they do happen, and you control them. Problem is we give up 3 feet from gold. We quit. So here's what I want you to think about. Where is the biggest power? What is the biggest power you have to do exactly what I'm talking about? Money, wealth, cash, right? Money or wealth, impact, make a difference for the most number of people and have the most fun. What if you knew exactly what it was that would give you the most money, the most impact, and the most fun? Would you do it? So I'm going to tell you what it is, because I said I'd hold nothing back. I'm going to tell you what will help you have the biggest impact, make the most money, and have the most fun. And 95% of you are going to ignore this, tell me I'm full of crap, and not do anything. And consequently, you're going to throw away the pot of gold that I'm going to hand you. If that doesn't scare you, it would scare me. But here's the truth. Your story is your key. It's the key to the Gringotts vault that's full of gold. It's the key to the deepest fulfillment of your life. It's the key to the biggest impact. Purpose, prosperity, and joy. Purpose, prosperity, and joy. Your key is your story. And when I say your story, I don't mean crap we make up. I don't mean meaning we assign. I'm talking about your own developmental story, because you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't want a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. You wouldn't be here. You'd be somewhere else. You are a divine being that has a yearning to serve. You also have some other yearnings. You got to make some money. You want to be healthy, and you want to have love and, you know, health, wealth, and relationships. Those are the big three, right? You want those. Of course you do. And they're within your grasp and your reach. Purpose, prosperity, and joy. The key to that is this custom designed set of experiences that you've had your whole life. This journey through trial and hardship, through struggle and development, because you haven't given up. You're still standing, right? Well, that's the key. You're still standing here. You haven't given up. You've gotten up each time you fall, but you know what you haven't done? you haven't found the gold in each of those experiences. So if it's true, just set doubts aside for a minute. And if it's true that everything that happens for my benefit, then I don't find that benefit unless I look for it. I'll give you an example that I've used before. On December 5th, 2018, just a few years ago, I woke up paralyzed from the waist down. Literally, I fell on my face trying to get out of bed. Bam, on the carpet. I couldn't understand what happened. I tried to get up, on my hands and knees, and bam, back on my face. And it was very painful, and I realized, okay, I'm paralyzed. I can't control anything below my waist. What the heck is going on? Now, in another iteration of me, I would have panicked. I would have been frustrated. I would have been scared, but I wasn't. I just assumed, all right, there's an answer here. We're just going to figure out what it is. So I talked to my wife. She called 911 and they came, the ambulance came, got me. And there's more to that story. And you can learn about it if you want to in a book called Walking Without Fear. Walking Without Fear. Because that's what that taught me. But anyway, in the ambulance, in the back on the way to the hospital, I just asked a simple question. And it came bubbling out of my lips. And it wasn't what the frick's wrong or why did this happen to me? It was, what's the gift here? I literally said that. What's the gift here? Because I know that that's why all these things happen. Now, because I asked that, I was able to list on the trip to the hospital 5 or 6 things that truly were gifts, not made up crap that you tell yourself to feel good, right? Truly gifts. One of them was it slowed me down enough to focus on what I really was desiring, wanting, needing to do or be in my life. And that incapacitation left me, paralyzed for several days. And I did emergency surgery and they were able to fix it because I can walk now. And that's why the book's called Walking Without Fear. Walking Without Fear. And the doctor who operated on me and later took out all the stitches, it was a big long scar that I have back here forever on my upper back. He shook his head and he said he just couldn't believe it. He said, I could count on less than one hand the number of people that have come into the hospital like you did and then walked out in 10 days under their own power. He couldn't believe it. But that was miraculous. But it was for me. And I gleaned and took out all kinds of value from that. And it turned me into someone else because I allowed it. I insisted. Your life journey isn't random. Your pain has meaning. Your experience has value. But most of us don't take the time to figure out what that pot of gold, that value is. Your story of becoming, I call it your developmental story. You can give it whatever name you want, but think of it. It is the story of your becoming because right here, right now, you are who you are. You might be living frustrated. You might be wealthy. You might be angry. You might be lonely. You might be depressed. You might be totally ecstatic and happy. The key is how did you get here? That is the story of your own becoming. And if you think of love, listen, serve, your ability to connect with and deeply resonate with someone else's story of their own becoming, wherever they are on that journey, is your superpower. And it's worth millions. And most of you are going to ignore me. And you're going to say, I don't believe you and I don't know how to do that. Let me help you. Here's some invitations for you. Number 1, go to this website, dreambuildwriteit.com. Dreambuildwriteit.com, right up there. Dreambuildwriteit.com. That's a workshop that I do where I will show you exactly how to find that gold and how to turn it into a multi-million-dollar business, if you want to serve, to listen, to love, listen, and serve. So go there. You don't need another strategy. You need to love yourself. You need to go inside and find all the gold that you've got. Now, I'm not saying that the tools aren't cool and bots and agents and AI and all the rest. Like, this is an AI generated image. Beautiful. I use it all the time. I have AI help me design courses and things. But the power isn't in the tool. It isn't from outside. Oh, if I have the right thing, it's magic. No, the power is in you. And the tool is your ability to express it powerfully and fully. So if I could ask one thing of you, it would be this: go to dreambuildwriteit.com and sign up. And then come. Don't sign up and don't come. It doesn't cost anything. Yeah, actually, it sort of does, because this is the book you should have for the curriculum, the story arc. And it's the tool that I use to help you get the gold mine out of your story. You don't have to get the book, but you'll get 10 times more out of our time together. So go there, dreambuildwriteit.com. You don't need another strategy. You need to become someone who creates with power, with that yearning that you have to serve, because you have it and you know you do. I'm inviting you to say yes. So remember, you create your life. You create it one single thought at a time, and then one choice at a time, one interaction at a time. So choose to love. Love never leaves a bad taste. It leaves pixie dust. It leaves beautiful sparkles. It also is the best way to create clients. It is the best way to create impact. And it's the best way to feel that fulfillment that we all crave. So one thought, one choice, one interaction at a time. Choose to love. Choose to listen deeply. And we're going to have episodes about all these. But there's a way to listen that is way more than just gathering the information. It literally lights the soul of the person you're with on fire. And they'll have an experience with you that they've never had before, and they won't even know how what's doing it. And so if we together learn to love, to listen, and to serve, then there's no limit to what you can do. And that's the truth of who you are. You can build something that matters: wealth, impact, and meaning. That's your ultimate life, and it's yours to create. So here's 3 final invitations. 1, go to dreambuildwriteit.com and register. 2, if you are living your ultimate life right now and you want to share your mission, your purpose, your story, I'd love to interview you. I'd love to. YourUltimateLifePodcast.com, YourUltimateLifePodcast.com, and use the contact form and tell me that you have a story you want to tell. I'd love to share it. I'd love to amplify your message, your story, and we have a large reach. The third one is, if you're afraid or worried or you think you don't know how, again, get a hold of me, YourUltimateLifePodcast.com contact, and tell me so I can help you. Because my commitment's to help 300 million people. My commitment's to make 3,000 millionaires. My commitment is to make 300 deca-millionaires. And when I say make them, I can't make anybody do anything, and I wouldn't, but to show you the path that I've walked so you can have it. I love you. There's nothing that can keep you from living your ultimate life.
Never hold back, and you'll never ask why. Open your heart, and this time around.
Right here, right now. Your opportunity for massive growth is right in front of you. Every episode gives you practical tips and practices that will change everything. If you want to know more, go to KellanFluckigerMedia.com. If you want more free tools, go here, YourUltimateLife.ca. Subscribe. Share.
Stand with your heart in the sky and your feet